Welcome back. It is just after 9:40, and our political analyst, John Dadian, joins us now.
Yeah, Nevada Republicans are the first Western voice in the presidential nominating process. We're going to talk about that first. Good morning to you, John. Thank you so much for being here. The Nevada caucus, does it matter? What will the turnout be? Two big questions for you. I'm going to ask you right off the top. Let's talk about first, does it matter?
It does matter because, again, Romney wants to cement things. He did win there in 2008. There's several factors that really play well to him. It's a big Mormon population throughout the state. But the state really is centered in just a couple counties. The most prominent is Clark County, which, of course, is where Vegas is. So, and he's got a big machine there. So it looks like he's probably going to win and probably going to win big. And it just helps cement the rolling along that he wants to continue.
As far as the turnout is concerned, this is a state that has been hit really hard by unemployment. And it also has one of the highest foreclosure rates in the country. How do you think that type of stuff will affect the voter mindset, I guess you could say?
Well, again, in this it's really not a primary, it's a caucus, so in this type of season, it'll affect it because Nevada has a very convoluted system. It's a caucus, but then it goes to the state party convention, then they assign delegates. So it's really kind of a mixed bag. So I think it's going to be a low turnout, quite honestly.
There's kind of a lull, I guess you could say, in February as far as primaries and caucuses and it kind of the timing of all of this. We're going to have about a 3-week break here, right, where we're not going to see one for quite a bit. How is that going to affect Gingrich at this point?
It affects Gingrich the most of any of the candidates because one of his strong strengths is when he gets either on the talking head on TV or in debates, that's where he looks the best. And when there's three weeks, there's a big gap that he doesn't get to be in the debate, etc., that's going to hurt him the most. The last one coming up is the 7th. I think there's 2 on the 7th, and then there's not another one until the 28th of February. So literally a 3-week gap where Gingrich is going to be silent. That hurts his momentum.
All right, Mitt Romney, obviously, you see on your screen right now, and there's been a lot of talk about this gaffe that some say he made, obviously, a few days ago, about the poor class in America, and he said that he was really he wanted to save the middle class. Did he misspeak? Did he not choose the right words, or is the media blowing this out of proportion? What's your take on all of this?
When somebody, as I was in my career, as a young aide to a campaign, the first thing they teach on the first day is to learn a phrase. And the phrase is, what the candidate meant to say was, meaning this is going to happen, okay? These people are in front of the camera 24/7, so it's going to happen. The problem with Romney is he did misspeak. It was a poorly choice of words, and he keeps doing it. That's really what the problem is. They're just like football players. They watch their game tapes afterwards, and you're supposed to learn from them, and most do. The fact he keeps doing this could tell you many different things. Is he uncomfortable? Again, this is his second round for a presidential, so he's not new to the game. It really is a little disconcerting to a lot of his supporters. I talked to one of his big supporters who was very concerned about why does he do these things.
We just had Bob Filner on, candidate for mayor and, of course, congressman, and he was pretty critical of the Chargers' proposal for a stadium, and you heard the interview. I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are about his response and his reaction.
Well, it's very easy to say, you know, no public funds. Everybody's basically saying that, and I think that's appropriate, so from my point of view. But he comes out with several statements that, you know, really don't address the issue. And when you're running for mayor, people want to hear how you're going to address the problems. Part of his proposals, or at least what he suggested, is to have the city of San Diego have part ownership. Well, you can't do that by NFL rules. Not done anywhere part of the country because it's actually part of the rules that can't be done. So for him to propose something that realistically wouldn't be viable, I think is a little trying to mislead the voters.
He's very much against city council and mayor, the salaries doubling, very much against that. Where do you stand on that?
Well, I don't see any elected official or candidate who's going to support that, especially the specific amounts. They're probably not going to support any raise, but the specific amounts. I think what you really want to look at, which is, you always have me on, you know, that story's already been in the press, so you have me on to go on the untold story, as they say. Why was this proposed? Why was this proposed as such a large figure? Was a couple of people on that commission trying to be shills for a couple of elected officials that wanted to get it out there, and then the elected official could say, oh no, we don't support that. It was very surprising. Really surprising to me that the reason they said is because we need to get better people. We need better salaries. I just use the proof in the pudding. Is what the commission's saying that our current council members are not qualified? I think the current crop of candidates running for council are very highly qualified, so that doesn't pass the smell test.
Kind of reminds me of what Cal State did with their current president. With the salary, went way over Dr. Steven Weber's salary, and now they took a bunch of heat for that. In fact, the president talked about universities and and salaries in his State of the Union, and that is really an issue that's come to the forefront.
I think the smartest way to do it is several governments, such as counties throughout the state, what they do for county government is they tie it either to 80% or 100% to a Superior Court judge's salary. And that way, when a judge's salary goes up by the state, their salary goes up without them having to vote on their own salary. It is very disconcerting, I think, for any elected official to vote on their own salary.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else, Court?
I think we're good. We covered it all today. Thank you so much for being
Very
here,
good.
John.
Thanks,
We
John.
appreciate it,
Nice
as
to have
always.
you.